Shalom. I want to start a small series here on kashrut as far as we're concerned with UTOM and the community at UTOM. If you're not part of our community, these rules mean nothing to you. Follow whatever rules or community you're a part of. But if you are part of UTOM in our online community and forming communities wherever you live at, these rules would apply to you as approved by the Bet Din. And in this video, I'm not going to get real deep into anything. I'm just going to give some basic overviews of some of the opinions we have at UTOM. And the first thing I want to state is under the umbrella of UTOM, we all forms of Judaism, whether Reformed, Reconstruction, Conservative, Orthodox, Karaite, whatever you choose to practice is that's your journey, and that's the vehicle that you choose to serve Torah. That's fine. So we don't try to supersede your judgment. We don't try to supersede what you see as far as Scripture or Talmudic or Halakha. We're not here to do that. We just have basic umbrella that we would ask that everybody would, at least observe. In your home, whatever, you may be Reformed and you may be a bit different than those that are Orthodox, and that's fine. But as we come together in a community, when we have our meeting and stuff like that, we will have a general rules that we will follow while we're together. But here again, at UTOM, we urge, you form your own journey, you walk your own journey. And here's something that a rabbi once told me that's really important. It's a conservative rabbi. We were talking to him, and me and my wife just kept on, using Orthodox as the standard. And he said, there's a problem here. He says, you're looking at Orthodox as the standard. He said, you are the standard. And he says, we all want to grow in our halakha. We all want to grow in our observances. He says, but you've got to start somewhere. We don't all want to jump and be the ultra-Orthodox in one day. We have to grow. And as Karaites are concerned, you can eat meat and cheese together. And I have no problem with that. Where others within the community would have problems with it. So we have to have an overall understanding of our kashrut when we come together as a community and what we can expect from each other. Now, the first thing I want to state is we really have this beat because many of the group are already basically vegetarians, and if they're not vegetarians, they only eat meat or chicken, as Shabbat, which is that's the best way as far as to avoid issues of halakha, is to eat just fish or to eat a vegetarian diet. We have tried this. We failed horribly at it. They'll say we wouldn't try it again in the future, but that is one way that you can actually walk, in a right manner and be in good standing with any community, really, is if you're eating vegetarian or eating just fish and vegetables. You can also, like your chickens and stuff like that, we have our own farm here, and we don't eat our own animals. I just couldn't do that. They're pets. But we would eat their eggs and stuff like that. So we know where our chickens are. We know how they eat. So I can tell you that our chickens are 100% kosher. And if Travis or somebody from our group halakhically killed them, I would have a problem at all, eating them, because I know that they're raised right and they're fed correct things. But when you go to a store, there's options you can do as far as looking for kosher. Now, I also recognize Muslim standards too, halal, which is the same basic standard, except they say different prayers, and Muslims will face Mecca as they do the kill. But everything else is cool. They do, they check the animals, and also too, the Muslims will eat the hind side of the animal, the beef, where Jews will not. And I don't really have a problem with any of that either. That's within your own home and the standards that you choose within your own house of how you're going to do that. We don't get into the politics of whether the people that killed it have a beard and that don't have a beard, which is a major issue within the Orthodox circles today, of determine whether they're going to observe certain foods or certain brands to be kosher and other brands that are not. And there's a lot of money dealt with this situation too. As many of you know, I work at Flowers Bakery. And we do have one line that is kosher as far as, it's kosher. And we used to have a rabbi come in and check it. And they still do, but we don't pay for the mark. But they still have a rabbi that comes in and checks it. and the Jewish World here in their local papers and stuff puts in there, okay, Nature's Own 100% Nature's Own honey wheat is kosher. You can eat it. But many Jews still will not touch it because it does not have the mark, although the rabbis certify it's okay. So it don't hurt to get on the phone and call these companies too and find out what's in there. My mother-in-law and my wife, one time when they were first getting into this, hit the phones a lot finding out, is there, what's in this, what's in that. Cheese also, here's another thing. If you buy kosher cheese, you will see a humongous price on it. So, a lot of people can't afford that. And I know a lot of Orthodox who still buy, store brand cheese, but they call, they do their own research and find out, okay, are we using any kind, what are we using in this cheese? Find the ingredients, which Rabbi John does a great job in sharing how his grandmother, how they came up. There wasn't all these weird standards. They just found out what the ingredients were in the food. And if the ingredients are kosher, your food's kosher. I mean, it's pretty simple. It's funny to me when I'll see canned goods that has kosher marks and stuff on there with vegetables. And, I won't get off on that. But so that's basically the best way to go is vegetarian or eating fish and, vegetables and stuff like that. Now, if you veer off and you want to eat beef, of course, we live 45 minutes, 35 minutes to the closest kosher market. So we're not going to go to Atlanta and buy kosher foods. First of all, it's overpriced. The same roast we can buy probably at Kroger's for $12, $13. It would be $22, $24 there, and it's a lot smaller. And there's chances you take. I work in the industry, so I know some of the, like I said, you call and you find out, look, how do you kill these animals and stuff? And, no, a rabbi don't approve it. But you've got to get on and do some feet and do some investigating your own self to find out within your family what you will serve your family and what you will not serve your family. There's always alternatives out there. There are kosher. If you go into the pre-food areas, you'll see some meats and stuff that's got the kosher symbol on there. So you can also eat them too. So I guess the whole message of this video is don't always let people tell you what is kosher and what's not. Get off your rear end. Get on the phone, get on the internet, and look things up and find out, if they meet your criteria within the home. Men, you are the head of your households. You are the head of your shalom homes, basically. And you're going to determine ultimately what's going to be kosher in your home and what's not going to be kosher in your home. So it's your responsibility. As you know, a couple of years ago, there was a lot of slaughterhouses that were busted because of some gross things they were doing in these slaughterhouses in the name of kosher. That actually most non-kosher houses were cleaner than these kosher houses, and PETA did a great job in exposing the hypocrisy that was going on. So a lot of things that you see aren't always what they seem to be, and a lot of things kosher, they get a kosher mark and they're really not kosher. They just pay the money, and sometimes it's approved. They don't get inspected and checked like they should sometimes. But overall, you can trust probably majority of the stuff out there that's marked. If you're eating out, for instance, and there's a lot of families, that are traveling or whatever, if you just want to go out and get something to eat, you're always safe with a salad. You're usually safe with fish, and Orthodox will agree with this. If you look in some of their books, they'll tell you to eat fish or eat, salads. Ask questions. It never hurts to ask questions. When me and Mandy, sometimes we'll ask, if we go into a Mexican restaurant or something, say, do these refined beans have pork in it? And that's, no, there's no pork. Or these tamales, they don't have pork. No. So, you're going to have to ask questions. You're going to have to do some research on your own. But this is basically an introduction of a series that we'll be doing on kashrut within our community. And like I said, if you're not part of our community, these rules don't apply to none of you. Do what you're going to do. But if you're under the umbrella of UTOM and the online community, this is just a little series to start out on the kashrut program of what we at UTOM feel is good or not. And a few more minutes before I have to cut this off because we're running out of time. Again, we don't require anything of anybody but what you need to, where you need to be at the time you're at. Many people just coming into Torah, you got to go one step at a time. And that's Torah observance. If you do more this year than you did next year, or you continue to grow, you're doing what you're supposed to be doing. And don't judge yourself by everybody else. If somebody's a vegetarian and you eat meat, don't be ashamed of that. research it and do what you need to do. You know, in other words, we don't set rules that you have to follow, and you know, if you don't do this, blah blah blah. You're in charge of your own home. So it's 10. Okay. So it's time to sign off. But this is our first video on this subject. So I just want to give a little introduction to Kosher in the wilderness. That's what it'll be called. And that's it. So shalom. Have a good day.